Hi, this is Aurang Zeb Khan, Assistant Professor of English at Government College, Bannu. Also working as the Chief Editor-in-Chief of Pashtun Times, which is an online newspaper projecting the Pashtun community and their problems. The Pashtun Times is a very small effort on part of the educated youth of Bannu, of which I am also a member. Pashtun Times is trying to highlight the problems of the Pashtun people, the way the Pashtun people think, the way they live their lives, and the way they look at the world. I write in Pashtun the Pashtun Times, and I give vent to the Pashtun mentality. Nothing I write comes from my own mind. It comes from the people. And all my friends who are working with the Pashtun Time are very clear-headed individuals. They're very highly educated. They're not chauvinistic. They're not megalomaniac. They're not racist. They are very concerned about their community, and they are rendering a service which I commend so wholeheartedly. And I think that this effort is going to bring fruit in near future. I believe it is possible. Pashtun doesn't mean, calling ourselves Pashtun doesn't mean that we are racist or we are megalomaniac or we have some very chauvinistic ideals. No. When we use the terms that we are Pashtun or Afghan, we mean to project the image of our community as a marginalized people, and not only historically marginalized, but where marginalization is an ongoing process, and it has been there since early 1980s when Zia started his overture with the CIA and with the Americans. Now, if the Pakistani state cannot recover the Pashtun from the ramifications and effects of the Afghan war and the civil war and the American occupation of Afghanistan and its outfalls, then it should be the world community. The world community has rescued Afghanistan very gallantly. It was one of the greatest things that the Western world has done. The rescue of Afghanistan from terrorists and from terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda is a very gigantic effort, and it is a part of history. American leadership for the last 25 years would have been a complete failure without the success in Afghanistan. The rescue of Afghanistan is one great godly act. But at the same time, when the Pashtun across the border in Pakistan, where according to everybody there are safe havens for terrorists, why don't the world community pay attention to these people? Why don't the international community come here also? The Pakistani state is in jeopardy. It cannot cope with all the problems, and especially when they have so many political and they're really real politicking in the power centers. When they have so many different power centers, there is no possibility of attention to marginalized communities. We expect attention from the international community to pay attention to this part of the Pashtun land and to give it a helping hand to recover it from the clutches of the wars in Afghanistan, to make these people a part of the world. We expect a lot from the friends of humanity. the Pakistani state has a very different, very discriminative attitude when it comes up to Pashtun or the Baloch talking about their rights within the country. And one can very easily refer to Bacha Khan, Awami National Party that was NAP before, and how they were smeared and how they were sidelined, and they were, even today, many people think of them as traitors to the state of Pakistan, which is a very, very sorry state of affairs. This is a very shocking thing, and I think this must have been the way the people in Bengal must have thought when they were blamed as traitors. Pashtun needs their share in the natural and derived resources. They also want to have education, access to education. They also want, they need to be, taken out of this strategic depth in which they have remained since early 1980s. They have remained in the Kalashnikov culture. They have been made a scapegoat for terrorism activities around the world. Pashtun are a very, very peace-loving people. Pashtuns are a people who can tolerate any religion and any nationality and any language. I have lived all my life among such people. Here in Pashtunkhwa, we respect Hindus, we respect the Sikhs, we respect the Jews, we respect the Shiite, we respect every human being. Pashtuns are not like that. It is the policy, it was the Zia plan that made Pashtun the scapegoat for the first time, and now the subsequent policymakers of this country are using the same ploy. Enough is enough. Please secure the state of Pakistan. I request them, please. There is a huge revenue which the state of Pakistan is generating and can generate further if the state's tax system is revamped and it is re-energized, regenerated, this taxation system. But the state is not interested in that. The state is interested in accumulating power into the center and spending all the state revenues in the center, while southern districts, especially in KP, are being sidelined. I think they want to give the impression to the world powers that the districts of Banu and Karak, Tank and perhaps Lucky Marwat are in the hands of Taliban or terrorists. It's not the case. Banu, Lucky Marwat, Tank and Karak are very outward looking people. They want a future, but they don't want to be scapegoats. No more. They have been the scapegoats since 1980s. I have seen so many young people who used to play with me get killed in drone attacks and in bombings and in suicide blasts in the mosques and the markets and in the police stations and in the cantonment areas. They were all my friends. They're all dead now. Very young people from 18 years onward to 40 years of age. We have lost a generation. Pashtun people of Pakistan and Afghanistan have lost 1 or 2 generations. Millions of people have been killed. This game should be over now. After the setting of the bear trap in Afghanistan by Americans, we are still in the bear trap. Americans won their war in Afghanistan, and in the aftermath it created millions of tragedies. And The world is moving ahead. The Pashtun also wants to move ahead. We have children here, thousands and thousands of children walking in the streets. There are no playgrounds, there are no parks, there are no schools. The state system is failing here. There is no electric power, there is no gas, there is no hope. The Pashtun people want to be given a new hope. They want to be given a new share. They want a new deal from the state of Pakistan. And this is the time that Pakistan should give them a helping hand. That the central government should do whatever possible for Pashtuns and the Baloch of this country, because this country is a dream. Our grandfathers joined the dream of the Punjabi poet Allama Iqbal. We still believe in him. We still believe in the dream. We think that the dream can be made a reality. However, those who are in power, or those who are in the center of this country, or those who have gone above a certain level of income, their education level is very low. They are not really educated people. They cannot see that millions and millions of children in Pakistan are not going to school. They fail to see that about 100 million people have no access to good food. They fail to see that about 60 or 70 million people have no access to drinking water. And we are spending everything on the defense. On defense of what? Defense of poverty. We want poverty to remain. We are defending poverty. We are defending ignorance. We are defending disease. Tetanus is killing children here in these streets. Tetanus. It has become an extinct disease in many countries. And in this district of Banu, 45% of school children are infected with hepatitis B. The state is sleeping. All the money is going into war and war games, strategic depth and strategic nonsense, which has proved everything has failed. In Afghanistan or in Kashmir or everywhere, the strategists have failed. They don't want to concede to it. There are no parameters for failure or success according to them. And nobody in Pakistan wants another fall. Nobody. We don't want this country to fail. We don't want this country to be. This is no time for separations. The world is merging. The people in Britain are crying hoarse to have another referendum because they think that the mistake has been made. We don't want no secession. We don't want no separation. But we do want our rights, and we will win our rights. Our people will win their rights within Pakistan. And if we don't win our rights, well, then their decision is theirs. They will decide what to do with us. If they want to finish our people, well, they have nuclear weapons. They should use them on their own people, and they should kill every one of us. We will not secede from Pakistan. We want our rights. We want education. We want our control of our natural resources. We want control on our lives. We want peace. We want to get out of strategic depths and strategic nonsenses. We want our children to grow. We want to live happy and healthy lives. We want parks and schools, clean streets, roads, sanitation systems. We want to be a part of the world. We want to live with the world. This is the world which we are living in, and every one of us has only one chance to be here. We want to make it a better place. My message to weavers is to please pay attention to the Pashtun land, and to please access the Pashtun mind through the Pashtun times. We are people who have been left behind in the march of history. Although we are the people who were on the side of the democracies and we brought communism down in very recent history, we should be given the credit and we should be helped and befriended by the world community. Pashtun Times brings all these things to the access of everybody. I request all viewers to watch our videos, to read our editorials and columns, interviews, and our cultural submissions. At the same time, I would say that if nothing comes out of our effort, we are not going to let go. Because when I was very young, I heard this from Homer, these lines. I love these lines. For my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. And of course, from Robert Frost, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Thank you very much. Thank you.